Welcome to today's deep dives. Ready to travel through time and spirituality. Imagine a huge stone library hidden for centuries under volcanic ash and jungle. That's Borobudur.
Yeah, it's a truly an amazing sight. It's not just a temple. It's more like a three-dimensional mandala, a physical representation of the journey to enlightenment in Buddhism.
It really is. We'll be exploring this monumental Buddhist temple in Indonesia. We've got articles, historical texts, and even some insights from archaeologists. But even if you've never, explored Buddhism or Indonesian history before, this deep dive is going to be fascinating.
What's really cool about this deep dive is that we're not just going to tell you what Borobudur is. We're going to dig into how it uses thousands of intricate carvings to tell stories, like a giant graphic novel.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where exactly is this temple?
Borobudur. It's in Magelang in central Java, Indonesia, and it's the largest Buddhist monument in the world. It was built sometime between the 8th and 9th centuries during the Lindra dynasty.
8th century. Wow, that's incredible. And it's still standing. Hey, can we talk about the name Borobudur for a second?
Mm.
It sounds, well, kind of mysterious.
There are a few theories about the name. One is that it comes from Vihara Buddha Ur, which means Buddhist monastery on the high place.
Makes sense, since it's on a hill. But I really like the interpretation, mountain of the accumulation of virtue on earth. That's powerful, It really speaks to the spiritual aspect of the site.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like, building this temple was a spiritual practice in itself. There's also the theory that comes from the words Boro, meaning great, and Budur, meaning Buddha, so great Buddha.
I like that one too. It definitely deserves that title. Speaking of grand, the scale of this place is, well, mind-boggling. Almost 2 million volcanic stone blocks.
It's true. 9 levels, over 460 bas-reliefs, 500 Buddha statues, and all these unique stupas, those small bell-shaped structures. They hold relics or represent important figures.
Mind-boggling. It makes you think about the effort it took to create such a monument. It seems like it was designed to be experienced as a journey.
Absolutely. You start from the east and walk clockwise, gradually going up through the levels. It physically represents the spiritual journey towards enlightenment.
Each level tells a different story.
Yes. Each level takes you deeper into Buddhist teachings, revealing different layers of wisdom.
Okay, so level 0. It's hidden.
It is. It's called the hidden level. It wasn't discovered until the late 19th century. It shows carvings from the Karmavibhanga, a text about the law of karma. It was covered by a later edition, probably to strengthen the base.
Wow, a hidden level. Why was it concealed? What does it tell us? And what exactly is Karmavibhanga?
Well, being hidden helped preserve the carvings, which are in better condition than others. Karmavibhanga illustrates the law of karma, the idea that every action, every thought has a consequence. Good actions lead to good outcomes. Bad actions lead to bad outcomes. Cause and effect, playing out over multiple lifetimes.
It's fascinating to think how karma might have influenced the building of the temple itself. What were the builders hoping to achieve?
Right. It suggests a belief in the power of actions. Maybe they saw building Borobudur as a way to generate merit, to create good karma for themselves and everyone.
So this hidden level sets the stage for the journey through Borobudur. It reminds visitors that their actions have consequences.
Exactly. Then up to level 1, you enter the world of the Jataka tales.
These are stories from the Buddha's past lives, right? They're so engaging.
They are. The Jataka tales are all about emphasizing virtues. They show the Buddha in his past lives practicing things like generosity, compassion, patience, all the qualities that lead to enlightenment.
They're not just abstract lessons either. I remember one story where the bodhisattva gives his body to a hungry tiger to save the cubs. That's selflessness.
And what a powerful image that is. What does that story tell us about the values that were important to the builders?
Maybe they were trying to inspire people to live more compassionate and selfless lives.
Absolutely. It's not just about teaching principles. It's about encouraging a way of being. There's another Jataka tale where he donates his eyes to a Brahmin. These stories really show that actions are more powerful than words.
Okay, so level 1, outer wall, upper section, is Jataka tales. What about the lower section?
Well, a lot of those panels are damaged or missing, but it's more Jataka tales.
Ah, that's too bad. Let's move to level 1, inner wall. Now we're getting into the Buddha's life story, right?
Yes. This section depicts the Lalita Vistara, which tells the story of the Buddha's life, from birth to enlightenment.
How is this different from the Jataka tales?
Jataka tales are about many different lifetimes. The Lalita Vistara is about a single life story, the Buddha's final life, the one that leads to his awakening.
So the Jataka tales are like moral fables, teaching through actions.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lalita Vistara is more like a biography.
Exactly. It shows key moments like his birth, his life as a prince, his decision to leave the palace, his search for enlightenment, his years of practice, and finally, his achieving enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. And then, of course, his teaching.
Like a whole epic poem, carved in stone.
It really is. The sheer number of carvings is a lot to take in, but it's the artistry that gets you. You can feel the emotion, the movement in the scenes.
So the outer wall is about his past lives. The inner wall is about his final journey to enlightenment. Imagine seeing these carvings for the first time. To see the Buddha's life unfold like that.
Think about the impact, especially when most people couldn't read. The carvings would have brought these teachings to life.
It really shows the power of visual storytelling, doesn't it? All right, so we've covered level 1, outer wall with the Jataka tales, and level 1, inner wall with the Laudevasura. What's next?
Well, we stay on level 1, but move to the lower section of the inner wall, and then we go on to level 2, outer wall. This is where we find the Avadana tales.
These are interesting because they're not just about the Buddha, are they?
Right. The Avadana tales are more of a collection of stories. They show how your actions can influence future lives. They might be about other Buddhas, or enlightened beings, or even ordinary people.
So they remind us that actions have consequences. That's interesting that some of these stories are set in the future, too. It shows that the idea of karma isn't just about the past, right?
Exactly. The Avadana tales are morality tales. They teach people how important it is to live a virtuous life. They cover themes like sacrifice, generosity, compassion, and then, the consequences of things like greed and hatred.
Of what kinds of examples?
Well, there's one about a king who gives up everything, even his family, to hear the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha. There's another about a merchant who's always looking for more wealth, and he ends up in a really dangerous situation. And then there's the story of King Sibi, who sacrifices his own flesh to save a dove.
Wow. The one set in the future, that's kind of unique for a text from that time. What do you think that says about how Buddhists viewed time?
Maybe it shows a cyclical view of time where past, present, and future are all connected. Actions have consequences that echo through lifetimes. And the future isn't fixed, but is always being shaped by what we do.
Those stories are intense. They really make you think about your own actions and motivations.
Oh, for sure. They make you ask those tough questions about right and wrong, about suffering and compassion.
All right, so we've made our way through level 1 and part of level 2. We've explored karma, the Buddha's past lives, his journey to enlightenment. What's on the upper levels of Borobudur?
That's where things get really cosmic. We're going to delve into the Gandavyuha. That's a text that explores how everything's connected and the limitlessness of reality.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We'll have to save that for the next part of our deep dive. I'm already blown away by Borobudur. It's so much more than just a temple, isn't it? It's art, it's wisdom, it's a testament to storytelling.
It really is. And we've only just begun. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll continue our exploration of this amazing temple and all its stories.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Borobudur. It's amazing how each level takes us deeper into, Buddhist teachings. We've gone through karma, reincarnation, the Buddha's life, and that whole search for enlightenment.
It really is a journey, unfolding physically and symbolically, right, as you go up through the levels of the temple.
We've also seen how Borobudur uses those incredible carvings to teach, almost like, a giant graphic novel carved in stone. But we left off on a cliffhanger. What's waiting on those upper levels?
This is where we get to the Gandavyuha, one of the most important texts in Mahayana Buddhism. It takes that idea of interconnectedness to, a whole new level.
Okay, so give us the basics on this Gandavyuha.
The Gandavyuha is all about this guy, Sudhana. He's a young pilgrim, wants to understand the true nature of reality. So he goes on this quest to meet all sorts of spiritual teachers.
So it's kind of like those, epic quest stories. The hero meets wise mentors, learns valuable lessons.
Exactly. But what makes the Gandavyuha different is the variety of Sudhana's teachers. And the focus on, how everything's connected.
Interconnectedness. What do you mean by that?
It's the idea that everything in the universe is linked. Nothing's isolated. From the tiniest particle to the biggest star. From our thoughts and actions to, the things that happen in our lives. It's all interwoven.
So it's not just Buddhist monks in monasteries that Sudhana is learning from.
He meets monks and nuns, sure, but also regular people, kings, merchants, even deities. He learns from anyone who can give him a piece of the puzzle.
Wow. That's really something for a text that old. It's got a very open view of spirituality.
It's true. And what's even cooler is that there are a lot of female teachers in the Gandavyuha. Queens, merchants, mothers, even goddesses. They guide Sudhana on his path.
So it's not just men or monks who can achieve enlightenment. This text is saying anyone can, regardless of gender or social standing. Okay, let's walk through Sudhana's journey, how it's shown on the walls of Borobudur. Where does it all start?
It begins on level 2, inner wall. You see his first 50 encounters. The carvings are so detailed. They capture, the grandeur of the scenes, but also the characters' emotions.
The detail is amazing. I remember those panels with Sudhana's visions, all those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Incredible.
Yeah, those visions represent the vastness of reality, a glimpse into the universe. And each teacher gives wisdom in a different way, through stories, through experiences, through visions.
So Sudhana's constantly learning, seeing things in new ways. He's not just sitting there, he's actively engaging.
Exactly. The Gandavyuha isn't about memorizing stuff. It's about experiencing, seeing the truth. And Sudhana starts to get it, how everything's connected, how his actions affect everything.
So level 2, inner wall, 50 encounters. Then where?
Up to level 3, he enters the Great Tower. It's like a symbol of the vastness of reality.
And that's where he meets Maitreya, right? The future Buddha.
Yes. Maitreya is super important in Mahayana Buddhism. He comes after Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha, to teach and guide people to enlightenment. He helps Sudhana understand that deep inner connectedness.
So Maitreya, even though he'll be a Buddha, he still had to go through lifetimes of learning.
Oh, totally. Like us, he had to develop compassion, wisdom over many lifetimes. And you see this in the carvings on the outer walls of levels 3 and 4.
What do those show?
They show stories from Maitreya's past lives, the things he did that led to his future Buddhahood, like a flashback, reminding us that everyone, even the most enlightened beings, had to work at it.
That's encouraging. It means we can all aspire to that, even if it takes, a long time.
Yeah, it shows that enlightenment isn't something you're just born with. You develop it. Okay, so we've seen Sudhana meet teachers on level 2, meet Maitreya in the Great Tower on level 3. We've seen Maitreya's past lives on levels 3 or 4. What's left?
Ready for the next part of Sudhana's journey? Where do we go?
To the final stage. It's shown on the last 24 panels of level 4. This is where Sudhana meets his final teacher, Samantabhadra.
Samantabhadra, he's a bodhisattva, right? What's special about him?
He represents like the peak of the bodhisattva path. He's all about wisdom and compassion, and he guides Sudhana to that ultimate realization.
So the ultimate mentor, the one who gets Sudhana to the end of his enlightenment journey.
Yeah, and Samantabhadra teaches him something really important. All that knowledge and wisdom Sudhana's gained, he's got to use it to help others. It's not enough to just achieve enlightenment for yourself.
That's a great message. It goes back to that interconnectedness thing, right? We're not alone. We're part of something bigger.
Right.
And our actions, our compassion, our wisdom, they affect everything.
Exactly. That's the bodhisattva vow, working to help all beings become free. It's about using your own awakening to help others wake up.
The Gandavyuha isn't just a personal quest then. It's a call to action.
Exactly. And the Gandavyuha ends with these beautiful verses, the Bhadrakari Pranadhana, a hymn of dedication still recited today. Really powerful stuff.
Wow, I'm seeing how the Gandavyuha, with its themes of interconnectedness, compassion, and helping others, is really at the core of Mahayana Buddhism.
It is, and the way it's shown on the walls of Borobudur, breathtaking. It shows the skill of the sculptors and the depth of these teachings.
We were talking about the female teachers in the Gandavyuha before. This is a text from, the 8th or 9th century, and it's got a more inclusive view of spirituality than a lot of modern stuff.
It really is remarkable to have women as wise teachers in a text this old. It challenges those old patriarchal views of religion. It suggests that spiritual attainment is for everyone.
It goes back to what we were saying. The path to enlightenment is for anyone. Doesn't matter your gender, status, or background.
That's a really inspiring part of the Gandavyuha, that potential for awakening is in everyone. And we can find teachers in surprising places.
I'm really amazed by the Gandavyuha. It's not just a story, it's like a philosophy, a guide, a call to action, all in one. And how it's expressed through Borobudur's carvings makes it even more powerful.
It's like the temple itself is a teacher, taking us on that same journey Sudhana went on. And we can learn and grow from every experience, every encounter.
It's amazing that these stories have been inspiring people for over 1,000 years. And they still speak to us today. They remind us about how we're all connected, about compassion, and about helping others.
Makes you think, what stories are we creating today that will inspire people in the future?
That's a great question. It's like we finished reading the book, and now we need to think about what it all means.
Perfect way to put it. We've explored the stories. Now we need to think about what they mean. What do they tell us about, reality, enlightenment, our place in the universe?
Stay tuned, because in the last part of our deep dive, We'll reach the top of Borobudur and reflect on what we've learned. Welcome back to our deep dive into Borobudur. We've made it through the lower levels, all those intricate carvings and those captivating stories. We saw, the law of karma, the tales of the Buddha's past lives, his journey to enlightenment, and even that cosmic quest of Suhana in the Gandavyuha.
Quite a journey. And we've seen how Borobudur, uses storytelling and symbolism to guide us toward a deeper understanding of Buddhist teachings.
We even met a future Buddha. But now, things change. We're moving beyond the stories carved in stone. The upper levels are different.
You got it. The top 3 levels of Borobudur are really unique. There aren't any more stories carved on the walls. Instead, you see open platforms, stupas, a sense of space. It's like the stories ended, and now it's time to think about what it all meant.
It does feel like that, like you finished a good book, and now you just want to sit quietly and let it all sink in.
Great analogy. That shift from detailed carvings to open space, it's intentional. It shows a transition from, the realm of form to the realm of formlessness.
Form and formlessness. Can you explain that?
Sure. Think of it this way. The realm of form is like where we experience the world through our senses. It's where we see duality, that separation between self and other. The realm of things, ideas, concepts, everything we can see, touch, think, feel.
So those lower levels, with the carvings and stories, that's the realm of form.
Exactly. And when you go up to those upper levels, you move into formlessness. That's where that duality dissolves, and you start to kind of get a sense of the interconnectedness of it all.
Okay, so levels 5, 6, 7, they're square, representing form. And those stupas, those bell-shaped structures, are all over these levels. What do those symbolize?
The stupas, they represent the enlightened mind, the potential we all have for awakening. But here's the thing, the stupas on these levels aren't empty. They have Buddha statues inside. But you can't see them very well.
Why not? Are they, hidden?
Not really. You can see them a little through diamond-shaped openings in the stupas. It's just a glimpse, not the whole picture.
Interesting. It's like it's saying something about enlightenment. Like you can't just look at it and understand it.
Exactly. Enlightenment, you don't just see it with your eyes. It's something you experience. You develop it through practice. The way you can only see bits of the Buddha statues through those openings, that's what it represents.
Okay, so we're going from the concrete to the abstract. Stories to symbols, outer vision to inner vision. And then up on levels 8 and 9, the shape changes again.
Right. Now the levels are circular, representing formlessness, where, that duality dissolves even more. No more sharp corners, just curves, suggesting unity and that interconnectedness.
Formlessness is, hard to grasp. Got any examples?
Think about the vastness of the ocean, or like a clear night sky. That's a glimpse of formlessness. It's a state beyond, how we normally see things. It's pure awareness, beyond concepts and limits.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. Like clearing your mind so you can experience the world directly.
Exactly. And the stupas on these levels, they've got square openings, symbolizing a wider view, not limited by that duality of the diamond shapes below.
And finally, at the very top, level 9, there's that huge stupa, the central one. It's like ultimate reality, the end of the spiritual journey. But it's empty. Why is that?
The emptiness. It's a powerful symbol. It represents the void. But not nothingness, It's the void as the source of all possibilities, where everything comes from.
Empty, but the source of everything. That's a real paradox.
It shows us that reality is way more mysterious than we can understand. The true nature of existence, it's beyond all our concepts and ideas.
So Borobudur takes us on this step-by-step journey, from the concrete to the abstract, stories to symbols, the material world to formlessness. And it ends with this experience of emptiness that's actually full of potential.
It's amazing how architecture and symbolism can be used to show, spiritual truths. It's a gift to everyone who visits, an invitation to go on their own journey.
What a journey. We started with that hidden level and the lessons on karma. Then the Buddha's past lives, his enlightenment. We saw the Avadana tales, the Gandavyuha.
So many characters, so many stories, teachings, each level building on the one before.
We've learned about interconnectedness, about compassion, about the potential we all have. It's been incredible.
If you're interested, learn more. There's so much information online, in books, even guided tours. And if you ever have the chance, visit Borobudur.
Nothing compares to being there. Experiencing the scale, the beauty, the spiritual energy, walking the path, thinking about the stories, being inspired. It's something everyone should do.
You might even find your own meaning in Borobudur's message. Remember, enlightenment is a journey, a path of always learning and growing.
And all the stories and symbols we've talked about, they're just a starting point, a little glimpse into Buddhist teachings. So, as we wrap up our exploration of Borobudur, we invite you to keep going, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep digging deeper.
And remember what we've learned from Borobudur. Remember that interconnectedness, that compassion, that potential within you.
That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and keep discovering.
Bet you've never explored Borobudur like this before. Discover centuries-old secrets carved into over 1,000 narrative panels. Roam every corner in a full 360-degree virtual tour. Slip on VR and step inside these ancient halls without leaving your couch. Download a free photobook loaded with rare, historic images and today's ultra-clear shots. All yours for free now. No ticket fees, just pure Borobudur experience at your fingertips. Visit MediaLoca.com. Start exploring right now before everyone else. Don't keep this secret. Tag a friend, share the wonder. Visit MediaLoca.com now.